Hello? Sir Robin, do I sound clear? I sound clearly.
Yes,
Yes,
ma'am
ma'am.
Elaine.
Okay po.
Loud and clear.
Okay. So, a pleasant morning to all, most especially to our dear principal, Dr. Elisa Idorens, Science Department Head Teacher, Ms. Cheryl G. Luzentales, Science Department Master Teacher, Ms. Christy G. Lamore, to all science teachers, and of course, to our dear students. Welcome to our Science Research Literacy webinar. And I'm Ms. Emeline A. Cagara, your Master of Ceremony. So let us formally start our program with a prayer to be led by Hannah Yesha Arapable from Grade 8 Rizal, followed by with the National Anthem to be led by Mr. John Robin F. Amogis.
Play lang yun din. Hanggang naririnig ko.
Let's feel the presence of the Lord. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. We thank you, God, for another day you had given us. Thank you for keeping us safe and healthy. We also thank you for the blessings we are receiving, such as food, shelter, clothes, family, and technology that help us to continue studying despite this pandemic. Thank you for gathering us in this webinar. I hope this event will be successful and the students will learn something that we can use for our everyday life. Bless the principal and all the teachers that made this possible to happen. Bless all the speakers that help us to understand what our topic will be about. Guide us all throughout this day. Faith, it does not make things easy, it makes them possible. Luke chapter 1, verse 37. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen.
For the opening remarks, may I call on our Science Department Head Teacher, Ms. Cheryl G. Luzentales. Once again, for the opening remarks, may I call on our Science Department Head Teacher, Ms. Cheryl G. Luzentales.
Good day, students, teachers, and Dr. Eliza E. Durens. Science research is one thing close to my heart. One of my dreams for FG Calderon High School is to develop a culture of science research. Today is just one small step towards the realization of that dream. I, together with the science teachers, will take a leap of faith for Calderonians to be in depth of science knowledge, skills, and experience among our students. My dear future research enthusiasts and scientists, let us embrace and always keep in mind that research is the foundation of almost all of our existing ideas. Its vast importance and applications are seen everywhere. I hope that today we will act as one to fulfill that vision. Felipe G. Calderon High School, a center of excellence in science research. At this juncture, I welcome you all to the world of research in today's event, our first webinar on science research literacy. Once again, good day.
Please bear with us, students and teachers, for we are having an intermittent connection right now and some technical difficulties.
Thank you very much, Ms. Cheryl D. Luzentales, for your opening remarks. And for the inspirational message, may I call on our dear and hardworking principal, Dr. Elisa E. Lorenz.
To Ma'am Cheryl Santales, our diligent head teacher of the science department, to the hardworking science teachers, my dear students, a very pleasant day to all of us. First, I would like to extend my warmest felicitations to the science department for bringing glory and honor to the school in the recently concluded First Manila Intellectual Property Innovation and Business Incubation Expo. To Ma'am Emeline Cagara for winning the Bronze Award in the Robotics category. Congratulations, Ma'am Cagara. And to Ma'am Rodora Anyag for winning 2 awards, the Bronze Award and Honorable Mention Award for her researches in Bayanihan Act and Duterte. Congratulations, Ma'am Anyag, and congratulations, Science Department. I am so proud of what you have, Lucentales, for your guidance and assistance to our science teachers. May this award inspire more teachers and students to pursue their passion in research and innovation. So today, you have your seminar in research. So when you hear the word research, what are the first words that will come into your mind? Difficult? Hard? Bakit? 'Di ba? So why is research difficult? Perhaps it is because you do not know how to do research. You lack the foundation. When you will be in grade 12 of the senior high school, there is a subject on research and you need to write and defend your research before you will graduate. The same goes in college. In the graduate studies, you have the thesis writing. In the postgraduate studies, you have to finish your dissertation before you will graduate and be called a doctor. In education, research is an integral part. But research is not only in education. Research is everywhere. The products and technologies that we enjoy today are the outcomes of painstaking research yesterday. Even the COVID vaccines have undergone research and is continuously undergoing research studies. That is how essential research is. My dear students, our world is changing. There are pandemics, climate change, war and conflict, too many youth in low-income countries without education or jobs, humanitarian crises, trade barriers, and economic stagnation, to name a few. These challenges needs financial resources, but even more crucial is our knowledge. It is because through our knowledge, we can respond to these challenges. No one was prepared when the COVID pandemic hit the world. But what is our response? One of the responses is research to produce the vaccine. Therefore, there is a need that we invest in research and development in order for us to be prepared to respond better to challenges, to solve underlying problems, and improve our lives' living condition. Thank you so much, my dear Science Department, for making this research seminar possible. Thank you for your effort in laying the research foundation to our students. Malay natin, ang mga future na mga technologies na lalabas ay manggagaling sa ating mga estudyante. Aside from that, ang pinaka-importante ay to solve our own problems using research. So, sa mga teachers natin, gumagawa sila ng mga action research para malaman kung ano ang magiging sagot doon sa problem. So, mga anak, hindi nyo lang alam na yung ating mga teachers ay nagkakandak ng research. So, sa klase pa lang ninyo, ay pinag-aaralan nila kung ano ba talaga ang problema para matulungan kayo kung paano ma-solve ang mga problems ninyo. So, ganon ang effort ng ating mga teachers para kayo ay matulungan. So, sa inyo naman, on the part of the students, tinuturuan nila kayo kung paano mag-conduct ng research para if ever meron kayong problems, ay masosolve nyo ito sa tulong ng research. Although hindi lahat ng problems natin ay masosolve through research. May mga problems tayo, for example, in terms of money. Diba? O so paano yun masosolve? Magtrabaho, gumawa ng paraan para magkaroon ng pera. Kung hindi man kayo mataas ang grade sa inyong mga subjects, ano ang gagawin? Mag-aaral. So paano papasok ang research? Sa pag-aaral, pwede na mag-alat kayo ng mga options kung paano ninyo masosolve yung problems niyo. For example, time ba ang problem? O pwedeng, ano ba ang problem? Ingay ba doon sa bahay? Ano pa ang pwedeng problem sa mga students? Modules ba ang problem? Ang communication ba ang problem? So yung mga factor na yun, pwede mga simple research. Diba? So, napaka-importante ng research sa buhay natin. Although hindi nyo man lang napapansin, pero gumagawa na kayo ng research to solve your problems. At yung research na yan, na meron na kayong little foundation, ay i-enhance pa yan through this seminar at matutulungan pa kayo further ng inyong mga teachers para yung research skills ninyo ay mag-improve para if ever you have more problems or bigger problems ay masosolve na ninyo. Malay natin yung ibang mga products and innovations na ma-produce sa market ay manggagaling sa mga Calderonians. So, with this research seminar, be attentive and apply what you have learned. Kasi hindi lahat ay mabibigyan ng chance para makapag-attend ng research. At alam naman ninyo na kayo ang susunod na generation na papalit sa ating labor force at papalit sa inyong mga teachers at papalit sa amin. Kayo ang next doctors, next nurses, next scientists. So, we invest in your future. So, mga anak, take time, be attentive, and sana makapag-produce kami one day ng isang Calderonian na makakatulong sa ating lipunan dahil sa nagawa niya na research. So with this, I would like to end my message by sharing this quote. Research is to see what everybody else has seen and to think what nobody has thought. Good day once again and mabuhay.
Thank you, Dr. Lorenz, for your inspiring and congratulatory message. So before I call someone to introduce our speaker, I just want to tell you something. You don't research because you know nothing, but what you are willing to know and what you are willing to find out. So in our webinar today, you will learn something about research. So let us all welcome our dear speaker to be introduced by Miss Christy G. Lamore. Master Teacher of Science Department.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. It's my honor to introduce our guest speaker for today. She graduated from Philippine Normal University, a simple and one of the innovative science teacher of Felipe J. Calderon High School, a grade 9 science teacher, and the Young Research Society Club advisor. Let's welcome Miss Amor B. Bariwan.
Once again, please welcome our dear speaker, Miss Amor B. Bariwan.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. So, how are you today? I hope everyone is safe and fine. So, let me just share my presentation. Okay. Mm, um, okay. So, we have this. Oh, wait. Sorry, ah. Ah, PowerPoint kasi ito. I'll just open my video, my webcam, I mean. Okay. So we have here grade 7 and grade 8 participants, right? So welcome to our science research literacy webinar. Okay, I'll just open my webcam. Okay. So, and share this slide. Yeah, there you go. Sorry, uh, karoon lang ng technical problem. That's why medyo naantala yung start ng ating webinar. Okay, so again, welcome to our Science Research Literacy webinar. Okay, so for our grade 7 and grade 8, our discussion today or the webinar is about identifying the parts of a science investigatory project manuscript. This is to give you an idea and knowledge on how to write a science investigatory project, what to write or what must be the content or parts of your science investigatory project. Okay, so for uh, this webinar, first let me acknowledge the uh, reference that I use. Okay, most of the content that I use in this slide is from Ma'am Pilar P. Carmona of Quezon City Science High School. Okay. So now for our objective in this webinar, we have first is to review the parts of scientific method. So I believe that it has been discussed to you during your grade 7 for grade 8 and for grade 7 first quarter, right? The scientific method. So first we will have that review. Okay, and then second is to identify the contents of your SIP or Science Investigatory Project manuscript. And last is to show some examples of student writing. Okay. So, to start, as we said, we will have a short review of your knowledge about scientific method. Okay, so are you ready? grade 7 and grade 8. So we'll just have a simple questions here that you have to guess what part of scientific method is being shown in our okay? Can you still recall those steps of scientific method? So, sorry, I can't open my other account. Baka magkaroon ng another internet problem connection. That's why isa lang yung naka-open. Okay? So anyway, if you want to answer, can type in your answer in our chat box here in Meet, and somebody from science department can please assist me. Okay, if there are answers from our dear grade 7 and grade 8 participants. Okay, so let us start. Okay, so we just need to tell us what part of scientific method is this. Okay, so let's have the first picture. So, what do you think? Is this part of the scientific method? You can type in your answer in our chat box here in Google Meet. And so what you see here is a lady with a question mark on this side. So what do you think? Ma'am and sir, may sumagot na po ba sa ating participants? Sorry, hindi ko po kasi nakikita.
First student
Yes.
is Rio Mercolita. Ask a question.
Okay, very good, Merculita. Exactly, precisely that is the answer. Okay, so this is the first part actually of the scientific method, no? To ask question, okay? Being curious to your surrounding, okay? Will arouse your curiosity and give you a lot of questions, and from there you can start something to research. Okay, so that is the first part of scientific method. Later we will relate. Okay, why do we need to review this scientific method? What is the relationship of this in science investigatory project? That is actually what is our topic all about today in our webinar. Second, let's have the second one. Okay, so we have here a bulb. Okay, and yan. So what do you think? What part of scientific method is this? Mga ma'am, may sumagot na po ba, sir?
Ma'am, parang hindi po nalilipat yung slide po ng
It's okay. So let me just check. Oo nga pala, ibang gadget to. Kasi kanina inayos ko na dun sa isang gadget. Sorry. Ayan, okay. Here. And then let me share. Yan, okay na ba? I-previous ko lang para ma-double check. Hindi siya there. Ayan, kita na?
Opo, ma'am.
Yes po, ma'am.
Okay, so this is the next question. Okay, can you see the bulb now in our screen? The moving bulb.
We have Chelsea Orozco. Hypothesis.
Okay, so let's see if Orozco, am I right? Is correct. Okay, very good. Okay, looks like you are really listening to your teacher and you are studying. Formulate a hypothesis. Okay, so after defining your question, next is to formulate a hypothesis. Okay, predict the possible answer to your question. Okay, next, let's have the third one here. Okay, so as you see on your screen, we have different laboratory apparatus. Okay, we have here a setup of Baka masabi ko yung sagot. Okay.
Answer from Bolatao. Experiment. Clarence Bolatao.
Okay. Okay, so this one is conduct an experiment. Correct. Okay? So mukhang magaling ang mga ano natin ngayon na participants. Okay? So, next, let's have this one. What about this? What part of scientific method is this?
Dulay. RB Grace Dulay. Analyze.
Okay. Analyze. Okay. How about another answer, ma'am?
Again, from Bolatao. Conclusion.
Conclusion. Okay. Analyze or conclusion. So let's find out. That is to make an observation. Okay. So after the experiment, of course, you need to gather the data, and to gather the data, you have to observe what is happening in your experiment. Okay? So ayan, kaya we have here the microscope and then observing what is under the microscope, while this one is gathering or recording the data. Okay? So whatever is being observed, you have to write it in your anal notebook. Okay? So next, how about this? What part of scientific method is in our screen? Sorry.
From Humasin. Conclusion.
Okay, draw a conclusion. Okay, of course, after performing the experiment and gathering the data, okay, analyzing the data that you have, the result of your experimentation, okay, you have to make a conclusion. Okay, that is actually where you can find the answer to your question or problem. Okay, so as we said, okay, why do we need to review this before we go on to our parts? Okay, identifying the parts of scientific investigatory project manuscript, because just like in scientific method, no, or this science investigatory project, you also follow this process of scientific method. First, you need to have a question or problem, okay, that you need to research or to look into something that you're curious about, no? So, itong ating research, kapag nagkakaroon kayo ng investigatory project, you are using also the scientific method, okay? So, having that knowledge will help you a lot in doing your science investigatory project, okay? So, what are the parts of this science investigatory project manuscript? This is actually when we have a contest, okay? This is actually the parts of your manuscript that we submit, okay? In a division level and then regional. Okay, medyo iba lang kasi yung manuscript ng grade 7 and 8 dun sa grade 9 and 10, no? So, yung IMRAD C format talaga fina-follow sa grade 9 and 10. So, yung mga grade 8, next school year, grade 9 na kayo. So, yun yung inyong susundin na format in making your research. But for grade 7 and 8, ito yung format ng inyong science investigatory project. So, as we said, okay, one of our objective is to identify the parts. Okay, so later we will have that. So what are these parts of science investigatory project manuscript? So first is the introduction, followed by methodology, then results and discussion, and then the conclusion. So these are the major parts of the SIP manuscript. Of course, merong dapat na references, okay, yung additional natin na dapat syempre may references, no? Especially if there are contents that you add into your paper na hindi talaga galing sa inyo yung mga words na yon. You have to cite, okay? That meaning you have to mention the names, okay? Kung kanino lang galing yung mga words na yon na nilagay nyo. Okay? Kung hindi talaga yung sariling words nyo or phrase or sentence. So, that is very important in writing a scientific research, not only scientific research paper, but all kinds of research, okay? So, kapag hindi galing sa inyo yung idea na yon, yung parang tinatawag natin na intellectual property, no? Kahit isang sentence lang yan, you have to mention the name kung kanino nanggaling yung um, ang tawag dito, phrase na yon or idea na yon, okay? So, let's have first the introduction. So, let's have the introduction. So, in introduction, it may compose of 2 paragraphs or 4, okay? But with no subsections, okay? Ayan, nag-hi na sila. Okay, so it must present the background of the study, hypothesis and statement of the problem, objectives, significance of study, limitations of the study. So this must be the parts, okay, that is in your introduction. So when you make a science investigatory project manuscript, in your introduction, okay, we make sure na meron itong mga parts na to sa introduction nyo. No need to write the background study, yung sinasabi natin, no subsections. Pwedeng paragraph lang siya, tuloy-tuloy na paragraph, or you can have, as we said, 2 or 4 paragraphs usefully. Okay, so let's have an example of this. Okay, ito yung galing sa ito yung winning project ni Galang. Okay, mamaya post natin yan. Naka-indicate doon yung pangalan ng bata in school. Okay. Title of his project is Eco Fabric from Blended Fragrance Screw Pine. And this is the scientific name, Pandanus amarylifolius, leaf fibers, and cotton. Okay. So, again, identify the parts of science investigatory project manuscript. So we have here some parts of the manuscript, okay, and we have the color orange. Tama ba? Oh, yes, it's color orange. Okay. So what do you think is the part of introduction is this? Is it objective, significance of study, background of the study, limitations of the study, or statement of the problem? So you can read, okay? Today, so I will just read. Today, natural cotton is blended with synthetic polyester to mitigate the high cost of cotton. However, polyester manufacturing entails intensive energy and produces excessive carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions. So, close and open parentheses, polyester production, pollution 2012. So, malamang ito yung reference ng ng nilagay niya dito kaya may ganyan. Yun yung sinasabi natin na citation, okay? Kung hindi nyo sariling idea yon, dapat i-mention lagi. So, what do you think is this part of the introduction? Is it objective, significance of the study, background of the study, limitations of the study, or statement of the problem? Meron na po ba tayong sagot? Meron na po bang may sumagot?
From Chelsea Orozco, statement of the problem.
Okay, so let's see if she identified it. Okay, good. Statement of the problem, the answer is background of the study. Okay, so what is in the background of the study? Background of study gives you an idea, okay, about your research. So, yan yung maghahanap tayo ng reference, okay, to support our research, no? So, that is the background of study. In making the background of study, it must be relevant or related to your research, okay? So, ano ba yung title ng kanyang research? Eco-fabric from blended fragrance screw pine. That's why he mentioned here, tama ba? Oo, lalaki yata ito. Okay, he mentioned here, okay, the status, of our fabric, no? Then, okay, may sinabi siya na high cost cotton. Okay, so using that, okay, is very expensive. Okay, and then also, the polyester manufacturing entails intensive energy and produces excessive carbon dioxide and nitrogen oxide emissions. So, yun yung sinasabing background of study, no? Next, let's have this one. The this part, yung color violet. Okay, what do you think is this? Part of introduction, is it objective, significance of study? So, wala na itong background of the study natin, nasagot na yan. Okay, limitations of the study or statement of the problem. What do you think is this part of introduction in science investigatory project manuscript? Supplies and fiber yields of these plants are limited and other supply of fibers must be explored.
Answer from Greg Anthony Justiniane, limitations of the study.
Okay, so ano yung ating nag-color code? The statement of the problem. Okay, so the supplies and fiber yields of these plants are limited. So that is the problem, no? Very limited. So kaya sinabi na statement of the problem. Okay, we have that fabric, okay? So but it is very limited. So that's why it can be considered as a problem, okay? And other supply of fibers must be explored. So that is the statement of the problem. Ayan. So let's move on to the next one. This line, we have the green color. Okay. This study assesses the leaf fibers from fragrant screw pine as potential standalone fiber for fabric production or as blend with cotton for the production of a new PTF. Kanina din sinabi na kung ano yung meaning ng PTF, no? Dun sa ating naunang slide. So, is this an objective? Okay. Wala pang kulay. So, kasama pa rin yan sa choices natin. Significance of the study. O, hindi na kasama to. Nasagot na natin yan. Limitations of the study. Or, ayan. Meron na rin tayong sagot niya. So, tatlo na lang. So, is it
From
objective?
Lovely Espinosa, objective.
Okay, so let's see. Very good. That is an objective. Okay, it tells you what you are trying to find out, your purpose in doing your project or research. Okay, so this study assesses the leaf fibers from fragrant screw pine. So that is the objective, no? To assess the leaf fibers from fragrant screw pine that it can be alternative, okay, for a material in making a fabric. Okay, ayan, fabric production. So, yeah, stand-alone fiber for fabric production. So that is the objective. Sometimes in the manuscript, okay, or the paper, you can find the clue words there, no? Yung mga words na ginagamit. This study assesses, okay? So it tells you the purpose of that research, okay? So your objective. So in making also your paper, okay, there are words that you can use in writing your research paper. Yan. Not only the word this study assesses or sometimes this paper aims to, Yan, yun yung sinasabi natin na part na objective that is found in the introduction of science investigatory project manuscript. Okay? Just do remember, when we say objectives, it means the purpose of your study. Okay? Has something to do with the purpose of your study. Yeah, sorry, may nag-pop. Okay, next, we have here Violet again, is it? Okay, but let me just read it. Specifically, this study evaluates fiber yield of the plant and the fiber properties, breaking strength, cohesion, fineness, and mean length of its leaf fibers. So what do you think? Is this part of introduction? Not objectives. May sagot na tayo or. Okay, so is it significance of the study? Limitations of the study. Dalawa na lang.
From Jaima Gebilagin, limitations of the study.
Okay. So, what is the clue word there? Meron ding clue dyan. So, when you write a research paper, pwede nyo rin gamitin yung mga ganyang words. Okay? So, yung specifically, no? Specifically, so that means it limits, okay? The study, okay? Tungkol saan lang nakafocus yung inyong research. Kasi sa isang ano lang sa isang problem, pwedeng manganak na manganak yun, di ba? So, pwedeng marami kayong pag-aralan. That's why we add in the limitations of the study so that pag dinefend yun na yung inyong paper, okay? Bakit hindi, tinanong kayo ng judge, bakit hindi ganito, hindi ganyan? So, pwedeng, yun yung sabihin nyo na, because this study is limited only to find out, to know yung the answer to our question, which is ganyan, blah, 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 blah. Okay? So, that is the use of having or writing the limitations of the study in your introduction. Okay? So, the word specifically gives you a clue that it is this sentence is about the limitations of the study. So this study just evaluates the fiber yield of the plant and the fiber properties. So yung ano yung mga properties na yon? Okay, yan lang yung focus niya. Okay? So limitations of the study. And then of course the last one, yan. Ang huli natin ay yung significance of the study. So, asan kaya dito yung significance of the study? What do you think? Pwede mag-unmute ng mic for this question. Sino yung gustong mag-answer?
Mansilip ko, ma'am.
Yung girl. Nauna
First
si...
student, RV Grace
This
Dulay.
study boosts production of environment-friendly fabrics or eco-fabric like PTF by providing additional fiber supplies and eventually making these fabrics more affordable in the market.
Very good. That is correct. Kita nyo ba yung color? Sorry, So, that is the significance of the study. This study boosts production of environmentally friendly fabrics. Yon, yung friendly, okay, environment-friendly fabrics or eco-fabrics like PTFs. Okay? By providing additional fiber supplies. Di ba kanina minention niya yung problem na limited? Okay? Konti lang yung supply. Kailangan pa mag-explore. So, ito, yun. Through this study, pwedeng masolusyonan yon, okay? Additional fiber supplies. So, that is the significance of the study, okay? The significance of the study tells, okay, what contributions it could give to our community. Okay? So, yung nire-research mo, sige, yan na yung resulta, yan na yung na-conclude mo, makakatulong ba yan? So, yun yung sinasabi natin na significance of study. Okay? Mas maganda, hindi lang sa konti yung makinabang dun sa iyong study. Mas maganda yung maraming community ang makikinabang. So, mas magiging, ang tawag dito, yung iyong research, okay? Mas maganda yung ganong research na malawak. Yung community na pwede niyang matulungan. Okay? Hindi yung iilan lang. So, that is for the significance of the study. Okay? Remember that whenever you write for the significance of study, okay? Yan, tulad nito, no? Sinabi kung paano makakatulong, okay, sa community. The importance of what you find out in your research. Okay? So, significance of the study. So that is for the introduction. Okay? So, the next one, after the introduction again, so let's go back to that slide. Ayan. The next one is methodology. Okay. So here, we can find the materials and the procedure that is being done in the research. No? But, okay, ito yung mga dapat pakatandaan. Enough details so that others can repeat the experiments. So, if you will recall, when you do your methodology, okay, last school year, hindi pa naman tayo COVID, no? March nung nagkaroon tayo ng ECQ. So, medyo nagkaroon pa tayo ng research class, no? Nung dinidiscuss sa inyo ni ma'am and sir yung methodology, no? Sinasabi na laging lalagay nyo yung measurement. Okay? So, yung measurement, yung volume, yung mass. Okay? Importante kasi yon. Parang pag nagluluto, when we cook, okay, baka meron sa inyo marunong magluto. Pag nagluluto, di ba, kailangan alam natin yung eksaktong sukat ng bawat ingredients para same yung lasa na ma-achieve natin. Okay? Kasi may konti lang na mabawas, pwede yan tabang, pwedeng tumamis, pag nasobrahan, ganun din yung water pag sumobra ng amount ng water. So, hindi na pareho yung magiging resulta. Same din sa research when you do the research, no? We must be accurate in the measurement so that we can arrive to the same result. Unless may gusto kayong iba na makitang resulta, yun na yung ma-manipulate nyo yung inyong mga variables, no? Yun. Okay, so dun papasok yun. So, that's why in doing a methodology, okay, we must be accurate in writing the measurements, the processes, okay? Ano yung treatments na ginawa natin dun sa ating research so that when others, okay, is interested also about your research or something they are interested, okay, also in that research and they want to improve or find out something more, no? Meron silang parang baseline, okay, o guide na kapag ganito yung palang ginawa naming steps, ito yung makukuha naming result. What ito yung gawin namin? So, parang yun yung mag-baseline, no? Doon sila from there, doon sila mag-start. So, increase kaya yung measurement nitong water or the concentration. So, that's why it's important to have enough details so that others can experiment, okay, move for new tawag dito, new results, okay? Yan. Then the conciseness should be maintained. So although hindi natin nilalagay lahat, no, dun sa just enough details, be concise. Okay? So, concise meaning when you write your methodology, yes, sorry. Saglit Sorry. Okay, going back, when we say conciseness, as we said, okay, the measurements must be accurate. Even though hindi ganun kahaba yung nilagay mo methodology, no, na but the conciseness of your instruction on how to do that, the treatments, the processes, okay, andun pa rin. Sorry. Next, methodology should include the significant steps. Wala akong water. First is gathering of materials, preparing of setup, tests and experimentations, data analysis, materials used for each step must also be included. So these are the things to include in your methodology. Okay? So in writing the methodology, we just don't start with the process, but okay, first you have to mention the gathering of materials, saan nyo kinuha yung mga samples dun sa inyong experiment, kung yan ay galing pa sa Mindanao o Davao, okay, you have to mention it in your methodology, okay? Then, preparing setups, yung setup A, yung setup nyo, okay? So, yung mga independent variables natin, dun sa setup A nyo, ano yung meron doon. Test and experiment bonds, data analysis, yan. So materials used for each step must also be included as we said, okay? Usually in science investigatory project, there is a subsection of materials, okay, and followed by the procedure, okay? Now, for the procedure, let's have this one. Ay, na, this one. Okay, so please pakibasa muna, Silet. Yan, then I will ask question. Ayan, yan na pala yung tanong. Which of the two is correct? Okay. Okay na ba? So which do you think is correct? The first, the second one? Which do you think is correct?
From Dylan Ramos.
Okay.
The first one daw po.
Okay. So, let me just ask, nakita nyo ba yung pagkakaiba ng dalawa? The difference between these two? Okay, if you look at it, here in the first one, we have numbers, no? Number 1, peel the cassava. 2, or second, cut into small pieces. 3, oven dry. Then 4, and the 6, and so on. Okay? While here, wala, ano? Dire-diretso lang. It is written in paragraph. Right? So, yung words lang na first. Okay? So, ito yung word na first. Okay? Or pwedeng nilagyan din ng then. Or next. Extension. Okay. So, which of the two is correct in writing the procedure of your methodology? The first or the second one? The answer is, okay, the first one is incorrect. Okay, while the second one is the correct writing methodology. Okay, so when you write the procedure, it should be in paragraph. So you have to avoid the recipe type procedure. So ano yung recipe type procedure na sinasabi natin? Kaya nyo, diba, number 2, number 3, sa mga cookbook, pwede yan yung nakikita natin, di ba? Yung 1, 2, 3, tapos yung mga steps or yung process in cooking that food, no? But here in research, okay, in a research paper, you don't do that. It must be in paragraph. Okay? Use the word first, next, then, finally, lastly. Okay? But never Yung may 1, 2, 3. Okay? So, that is the reason why the first one is incorrect. Okay? I'll just go back. Kasi parang dito ko lang na-post yung or na-paste tong sample natin. Okay. And then if you look at the writing of the methodology, okay, let me just emphasize na merong time, okay, nilagay oven dry the materials separately for 5 to 13 minutes. So, that is what we're saying earlier that in doing or in writing your methodology, you must be accurate in measurements, even yung oras, okay? So, ayan, I measured 60 ml water. Okay, soak 3 rusty o yung number ng samples. Okay, para nga, sabi natin, enough yung details for other researchers and also to investigate, to research about that topic, no? So, meron na silang baseline. Parang ganon. Okay? So, ganon din dapat sinusulat yung methodology. Ayan, may measurements specific. Okay? The methodology include photographs. So, in methodology, dyan natin pwedeng ilagay yung ating mga pictures. This one shows the different processes na ginawa nila dun sa kanilang experiment. Yan, like this one, yung grinding, sieving, and then yung oven dry, no? Yan. Okay? So, usually sa methodology natin yan nilalagay. Or, it could also include layouts. Okay? This one, methodology. Okay? Hindi lang medyo related sa science yung ating nabigay na example dito. Okay? So, may nakalagay na what is the independent variable here, then the dependent variable. Okay? So, model development, evaluation, or schematic diagrams. So, this one, as you see, yung processes that was done in this experiment. Okay? So, yung there's a mixture with oxalic acid and then yung temperature for how many minutes. So, ito yung processes na ginawa nila, yung precipitation, filtering, okay, washing, ayan. Pwedeng in schematic diagram nyo siya i-present. So, again, this is an example, just like in our introduction, sa kanya din galing to. This is the part of the materials and methodology from Galang Elson. Okay. Ayan, this is an example of methodology. So, a methodology, pwedeng meron siyang subsections. Sabi nga natin, merong part na materials and then yung procedures na. Also, the treatment, pwedeng magkaroon ng subsections for treatments. Merong ganun dun sa study. Then, next to that, hindi ko yata na ano. After methodology is the results and discussion. Okay. Sorry, hindi ko makita yung aking cursor. Yun. It includes all the data gathered from the experiments. So that is the result. Yung kanina natin sa scientific method, nakita nyo, sabi natin nga, okay, after the experiment, of course, you need to observe so that you can gather the data. Okay, data, which tells the result of your experimentation. Okay? So, the results can be presented through tables, graphs, and figures. So, in scientific, or not even even not a scientific research, other research, no? Hindi lang sa pang science. Basta research, pwedeng yung results in graphs, figures, or tables. Okay? So, yun yung mga line, yung nakita nating line graph, bar graph. So, yan yun. Pwedeng sa results yun. Great data presentation must be observed. Tables, graphs, figure should each have their respective caption. So, just like in call this newspaper. Mga newspaper may caption siya, picture din sa itim. Okay? Telling what is in the picture. So, here in research, naglalagay din ng caption, no? Sa tables, sa graphs, and figures. Okay. A good caption must have a table, slide, graph, or figure number and a short description. So, yun yung dapat na nakalagay sa ating caption. Okay? Meron dapat ding description dun sa caption. And also, figure number. For example, figure number 1, figure number 2, depende yan dun sa inyong setup or yung variables, ilan, or as well as the tables, okay, yung kung ilang table meron inyong study, okay. So, captions for tables must be placed on top, okay, on top of the table. So, that means caption muna, then table. But for graphs, figures, and diagrams, it should be placed under. Okay? So, kapag o yung mga line graph, bar graph, dun sa ating research, nasa ilalim dapat yung caption. Okay? So, that is the difference. This part of research paper may begin with study determine blank. The blank here usually pwedeng manggaling dun sa inyong title ng inyong research, no? Yung kasi nasa title dun mo makikita yung pinaka-objective. Okay? Sabi nga a good title must tell what is your research all about. Sa pagbasa pa lang ng title ng inyong research, alam na agad ng mga judges or nung bumabasa tungkol saan yung study nyo. Okay? So, here in results, yun. Dito nyo pwede yung banggitin yun. This is study to determine the blank. Okay? As pre-living tables, graphs, and figures. So, then, kasunod na yung mga tables and figures natin with caption nga. So, no discussion. Kasi yung iba, okay, hindi lang yung presentation ng result ang ginagawa. Dinidiscuss na rin nila, okay, yung dun sa paper. So, dun sa result, dapat sa result, okay, yun yung mga na-observe natin, di ba? Magre-record tayo ng mga na-observe natin dun sa experimentation. Okay, may example tayo dito mamaya dun sa halaman. So, nakalagay doon day 1, day 2, day 3, and then ano yung treatment, and then ano na yung height ng plant. So, yun yung nasa result nyo. Yun yung nire-record nyo lagi. Okay? So, and then, that table, pwede nyo gawin din na graph para mas makita, okay, yung progress, yung growth nung plant nyo. Okay? Habang dumadaan yung mga araw based dun sa ginawa nyong treatment. Okay? Dun sa halaman. Could be a fertilizer or the amount of water. Depende kung ano yung study nyo. So, more than 90% of these tables, graphs, and figures. So, yun yung sa results. Walang discussion. Okay? Only the results. Kung ano yung na-observe nyo na nangyari dun sa inyong experimentation. So, this is the example that I'm talking about. So, this one, we can see here the result after the treatment of adding 200 ml of plain water twice a week for 3 weeks. Okay. And then for group B, yan. So, ang difference ng dalawa, yung sa group A is plain water. Sa group B, fertilizer solution yung kanyang ginamit. But the other variables, okay, just the same. Such as the amount of water, 200 ml pareho. Okay? And then, twice a week. Parehong twice a week ginagawa yung treatment, di ba? 200 ml plain water twice a week for 3 weeks. So, ito 3 weeks. Okay? 3 weeks in-apply yung ganitong treatment dun sa halaman na ito. Okay? So, and then the result, as you see here, we have the measurement. Okay, how tall is the plant after 3 weeks maybe? Okay, 18 centimeter tall, and then in group B, 32 centimeter tall. Okay, so in writing your results, again, pwede to gawin natin na line graph. Okay, so sabi nga natin, di ba, nag-experiment, mag-observe. Then, you will record what you had observed. No? Dito, observe mo yung how tall is the plant as they fly. Okay? So, if that is every day, yung pag-record nyo, so nakalagay, meron kayo dun sa journal nyo, may tinatawag tayong journal notebook for the research, dun nyo ilalag. And then, yung nakuha nyong data, yun yung pwede nyo ilagay sa result na through in format of graph. Okay? So, pwede yung, as we said, line graph or bar graph. So, ganun lang yung gagawin sa result. No discussion. Okay? Lalagyan lang ng caption pero hindi mo i-discuss yung iyong result. So for the discussion, this part of research paper should be treated as the soul of the research paper and not just an accessory part. So meaning, this part of research paper, ito na yung hinahanap nyo eh. Okay? Ito yung reason kung bakit kayo nag-conduct ng research, ba't kayo nag-experiment. Kasi may gusto kayong malaman, di ba? Gusto nyo masagot yung tanong nyo. So sa discussion, dyan makikita yung sagot. Okay? That's why it says it is the soul of the research paper. Most of the related literatures are integrated in this part. Okay? And not in the introduction. So, yung related review of related literature, wala na siyang sariling section or part dun sa research. Okay? So, it is still important we add the review of related lit in our discussion. Okay? Kasi kung may previous researches na yan, dun sa inyong topic, could support your research. Mas magkakaroon ng timbang o bigat yung research nyo kasi merong previous na research sumusuporta na tama yung theory na yan. Tama yung knowledge na yan, yung sinabi dyan sa inyong research. So, parang nagkakaroon lang kaya research search again. Okay? So, yung re doon na word na re. Para mas may bagong malaman, to explore new things. Okay? So, doon ilagay, again, yung review of related leads sa ating discussion. Okay? And not in, sabi niya, introduction. Wala sa introduction. Nasa discussion ang review of related lead. Subsections can also be used especially if more distinct tests were conducted. For example, discussion for result in test number 1. Then you also have test number 2. So, pwedeng subsections or section. Sorry. Okay, next. This part of the research paper usually answers the following questions. First, what are the implications, the results, and the trends derived from the data analysis conducted? Yan. Another is, what are and how did these factors cause such results and trends? So, this could be your guide in doing your discussion. Okay? What are the other related research that agree with such results? and trends. If any, indicate how this research varied from the research, especially in terms of materials and methods you use. So kung may binago kayo treatment, ayan. We said, may konti ka lang bago could lead to different results. So yun, dun mo pwede i-discuss yun. Next is, what are the established scientific knowledge? Science laws, basic facts that can explain or justify such results and trends. What are and how did these factors cause such results and trends? So, these are the questions that the answer to these questions, yun yung pwede nyo ilagay sa discussion. What are the other related research or scientific knowledge that contradicts such results and trends? And what are the possible causes of this contradiction? So that is for the discussion part of your research. Okay? Again, in the discussion, okay, as we said, that is the soul of your research because there in the discussion, we could find, okay, the answer to your problem or question based on the result that you have. Okay? Doon ibabase lagi, doon dapat iikot yung inyong discussion doon sa result na meron kayo kung yan ay gumamit kayo ng graph. Okay? So, yun yung part na nasa discussion nyo. Okay? So, after the discussion is the conclusion. So, for the conclusion, so it summarizes the result of the research. Usually 2 or 3 sentences with no sections. Should present only conclusion based on the results and trends discussed. So after the results and discuss, how you can conclude. Okay? Should answer the objectives presented in the introduction. It should mention a practical application. Dapat kasama din yun sa conclusion natin. Pero pag ang conclusion, gumagawa tayo hindi masyadong mahaba. So, pwedeng 3 sentences. Okay? So, this is an example of the conclusion. Again, from Elton Ian Galang. And still, the study is about ecofabric from blended fragrance screw pine, Pandanus amarylifolius, the leaf fibers, and cotton. Yan. That is the conclusion. Cannot be used, ay yung conclusion niya, di ba? Fragrance screw pine leaf fibers cannot be used as standalone fibers. However, an 80 by 20 cotton fragrance screw pine yarn and fabric was successfully produced and characterized to have relatively good properties such as enough fabric weight, breaking strength, good color fastness, and staining. So that answers his problem in this research, no? So it cannot be used as a standalone, the fragrant screw pine in making the eco fabric. So additional, yan, you can have the recommendation in your SIP manuscript. Okay, what is found in the recommendation? So here, what we write here, okay, things that can be done to improve the research. So, pwede yung concentration increase or more amount of baka kung kaya hindi ganun yung naging result ng inyong experiment, baka may something na kailangang idagdag or bawasan. So, yun yung pwede nyong isuggest, no? So, something that can improve the research. Another for the recommendation, other variable that can be tested in relation to the research. Okay. Here in relation, Some, okay, when they do research, ito yung tinitingnan nilang part ng research. Kasi nasa recommendation, yung pwede na nakalagay na, yan, tulad niyan, other variables. So, you can make a research related to that using different variables. So, hindi na pwede masabi na parang copycat yung inyong gawa. Okay? Ma-plagiarize kasi iba na yung variable na gagamitin nyo. So, magkaiba kung ibang samples ang ginamit nyo, but still, for example, ito yung Eco Fabric, di ba, yung screw pine ang ginamit niya. O instead of the screw pine, ibang material ang gamitin. Okay? But still trying to find out if it can be used as a standalone na fabric. Okay? Hindi nga lang yung screw pine. So, yun yung sinasabi dito. You can use other variables. Okay? So, yun yung pwede natin, kapag magsisimula pa lang tayo, yan yung pwede natin gamitin na reference. Babasahin natin yung recommendation. And again, syempre, something that interests you, mas maganda yun. Okay? And then also, additional, yung bibliography. It includes all books, journals, credible websites. Ayun yung word na credible. Okay? Dapat alam natin kung anong website lang ang titignan natin for our reference in research kasi may mga ibang websites, no? Baka hindi tama yung nilalagay nila doon na information. So, may mga certain websites na credible. Usually, yung mga may .edu, yan. Yan yung mga credible sites or website references for research. And all other resources that were used as reference. Ayan. And then, citation style must be consistent. So, ito yung format na ginagamit natin. Usually, yung Chicago Manual style or yung APA. And then, the abstract. For a SPP manuscript, itong abstract, wala pa tong part na to na sa abstract. Okay? Pero sa grade 9 and 10, kailangan ng abstract. So, dapat may idea na rin kayo kung ano yung nilalagay dito sa abstract. It should be written after the whole research. Okay? If the conclusions of this, your research, here abstract, okay, parang ganun din. It is a summary of your research because here in abstract, okay, you can find the, yan, background of the study, objectives of the study, materials and methodology na sinabi na. Ito yung part naman na parang introduction. Then you have the results, conclusion, and significance. So that is the part of an abstract. Okay? So that's why it is said here that it is written after the whole research. Kasi hanggang saan siya? Sa conclusion. So, paano ka makakabuo ng abstract kung wala ka pang result, no? Hindi mo pa na i-interpret, na-analyze yung result para dun sa iyong discussion. Okay? And then, conclusion after analyzing the result. So, ano na yung conclusion mo? Kaya, sinabi dito na yung abstract, usually, ginagawa yan after matapos yung buong experimentation nyo o yung buong research. Okay? So, this is the full abstract. Yan, ayan yung part ng background of the study. Yan, ito, and objectives. So, yung introduction part. Yan. And then, materials and methods. So, yun yung were extracted through vetting and basic properties of the fiber were assessed. So, yan yung materials and methods. Ayan, sinabi na, binanggit na siya. Then, the result, ayan, the newly produced fabric of cotton, and the fabric showed the properties. O yan, fabric weight, ideal for blouses and pants, good breaking strength, exhibits shrinkage, has low piling resistance. So, yun yung result niya. And then, conclusion. The results prove that the ultimate fiber from Pandanus, Amaryllifolus, cannot be a standalone fiber for fabric production, but it is good and economically sound blend to cotton for the production of a new PTF. So, yun yung kanyang naging conclusion. So, those are the parts, okay, of the SIP manuscript. For grade 7, ayan, para may idea na kayo what should be in your SIP manuscript. And then for our grade 8, incoming grade 9 next school year, also, now you have more knowledge on writing a research paper. Okay? So, thank you. Presentation.
For the open forum, you may ask questions related to the topic to be answered by our speaker. So the floor is open for questions. So if you have questions, kindly please state your surname for you to be acknowledged. Any questions, students? So mukhang clear sa kanila ang diniscuss ni Ma'am Bariwan. At wala na silang tanong. So, in behalf of Science Department, we would like to thank Ms. Amor B. Bariwan for sharing your expertise in discussing research to us. That was flawless and it was beyond excellent. Again, thank you very much and keep on shining. So to award the certificate of recognition to our dear speaker, may I call on our Science Department Head, Ms. Cheryl D. Luzentales.
Thank you very much, Ms. Amor, for that very substantial talk about scientific research. Truly, the students have learned and inspired by your topic. Here's your certificate of recognition. Schools Division Office, Manila, Felipe D. Calderon Integrated School, Hermosa Street, Tondo, Manila, Science Department. Certificate of recognition is awarded to Amor B. Bariwan for sharing her expertise and commitment as a resource speaker on the Science Research Literacy webinar on the topic Identifying the Contents of a Scientific Investigatory Project Manuscript, held on 29th day of April in the year of our Lord 2021 at F.G. Calderon Integrated School High School, given this 29th day of April 2021 via Google Meet. Signed by yours truly, Cheryl Luzentales, Department Head, and our Principal, Dr. Elisa Durens. Thank you very much again, participants and Ma'am Bariwan. Have a good day.
Once again, thank you very
Thank you,
much, Ms. Amor B. Bariwan. Research is important to all, especially to you, students, to have a detailed analysis of everything, to find solutions to particular problems arising not only in our school but also in our community. Our Science Research Literacy webinar is about to end. But before that, I just want to leave this quote. After all, the ultimate goal of all research is not objectivity, but truth. Once again, I'm Miss Emeline A. Tagara, your Master of Ceremony. Thank you and God bless.
Good morning once again. Learners, grade 7 and grade 8, don't forget to log in for your attendance. I only have here 77 responses for your attendance and then for the webinar feedback form. So we are going to get your feedback regarding the webinar we just have conducted. Don't worry, your response is highly confidential and it would help us for the next time to improve our webinar. Thank you.